And we're back on the record with Tiffany and Kevin on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, home of conservative talk radio. Okay, so we're you got some sleep, drink a little bit of coffee, you are ready to go, right? Woo. So as you can tell from the past two segments, right, we are B1 and we do believe in building coalitions with others.
Coalitions are important.
Because coalitions are the way to bring about change. And I want to be with coalitions of people that are of my choosing, right? Not where someone else is has chosen them for me and someone else has set the agenda.
Well,
right?
and I always like to say, when I started this program, when it was just on the record with Tiffany.
It's been more spicier since I've been in here.
Just the tipster.
And you got better guests, right? Better than me.
Be quiet.
Continue.
I said, and I still say, that we're more alike than we are different.
We are?
And we're in a very polarized time when we shouldn't be. Because the moment we all look up from the scrap of bread that has been thrown on the ground for us to fight over, the moment we all say, you know what, we're not fighting for the scrap of bread. What we're going to do is look at these situations that are wrong and make them right.
But on that whole thing, right? And so you see the world from the view that you see it from, right? I see the world from my view, and and that is as an American descendant of the formerly enslaved, right? And so I see my people suffering, and we focus on that, right? Well, in the modern day America that we live in is not the same as it was, say, in 1955, 1965, right? We live in a world where we have access to the infrastructure, access to the system, if you will. And in my mind, my job and my mission, right, is where I can improve and better the lives of people who look like me, right? And I know the path to do that is to build coalitions with others who are also trying to improve their lives and find out where we have commonality. The issue I have with a lot of B1s, right, is that they
line and intersect.
Well, they intersect. But the issue I have with a lot of B1s, right, is that they want the issue, they want a situation to where black people are being benefited, right, and others are not. And I understand where that comes from, right, because black people, right, American descendants of the formerly enslaved, have oftentimes, through Jim Crow and other disadvantaged systems, right, have been singled out. Right? So if you're singling me out for discrimination and hindrance, right, then you should single me out for benefits. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works. And I realize that, right? And so in order for us to improve things for our group, we have to reach out to other groups of people and feel out where do we have commonality and where do we intersect and where can we build coalitions to advance our cause.
Well, everybody
in a very practical way.
That coalitions need to be built. We hear that from the other side.
Yeah, we do.
Everybody recognizes that coalitions need to be built. It is a matter of us being Republicans, realizing that you're not under siege. And coalitions are important. And this whole forgotten middle class, we see you, you're not forgotten. And working together can be done. But it can only be done in a manner where everyone benefits and not just one group benefits.
But see, here's the deal, though, right? So if my group, here's a historical thing. We talk about this a lot.
And when I say that, I mean we are not willing to work together in a manner where black people are not benefited and everybody else is benefited.
But here's the deal.
Black people have to be benefited.
But when black people benefit, everybody benefits.
That's right.
That's the historical precedent. And when we benefit and when we're treated better, when we're raised up, right, then everyone benefits from the thing, right? Because when black people are treated better, if black people win, we all win. That's right. Fact. You can look. That's a historical fact, right? It's not about I'm going to benefit you as a black person and not benefit the other person. Right?
Well, and in the timeline of humanity, you cannot have any nation or empire thrive if there is a class of people that's being oppressed in any way, that nation is vulnerable. That's the fact.
Yeah, and this is and I'll tie this in here because this is why black people and as a whole, the American descendants of the formerly enslaved, right, and this is why as a whole, right, I can't really get down with socialism. I really can't, right, because I see the American system and how it works when people are able to access it. I see the benefits that are there, right, for all Americans. It's just how do we get people to access it? And for the major point, it's generally information of knowledge and getting people the knowledge and information to access the system. Because at the end of the day, right, when there is buffoonery, if you will, going on within a system, it is generally because the system is allowed to go on and not be challenged, and people don't have the knowledge and the specific skill set to access that. And so that is where you and I come in, especially in the realm of healthcare, is one, to give that information to people so that the free markets can work. Two, also to demonstrate to other B1s, right, black first people, that this is how you do it by building coalitions. Yes, our grievances and our gripes are legitimate, right? But do you want to sit there and cry and complain in that? You can, right? And I'll listen to you most of the time for about 10 seconds. But then it's like, how do we change it? Right? And how we change it, if you look at from a historical and current perspective, is you've got to be the one initiating and building coalitions for your cause and finding others who are willing to build coalitions. And it's got to be political. Right, you have to be political and out there with politics and rallying people in specific spots in the system and understand how the system works. Agree or disagree, Tiffany?
I think policy is the way to change things. And I'm confident that policy is the way to change things, and you have to rule by the rules. But in order to rule by the rules, you have to understand the rules. And across the board, a deficit of knowledge has been a winning hand for the fringe groups that are looking to keep a lot of nonsense going. And when I say deficit of knowledge, I mean deficit of knowledge that the rest of us have had in regards to any given subject, like healthcare. Healthcare, for example. I work in healthcare every day. And there are so many areas that people just don't understand. And in that lack of understanding, that's where more nefarious players can hide. If I can hide the information from you, I've got you.
Yeah. And so that's the push that we have. We continue to
So we're all about transparency. We're all about returning your power to you and helping you to realize, hey, here's what I actually can affect change with. And here's what I need to know to protect me. That's very powerful stuff. And when you begin to understand what you need to ask your doctor, what are the 8 questions I need to ask my doctor about my kidneys?
Yep.
Wow, those questions literally can help you preserve the quality of your life, improve your cardiovascular health, preserve your kidneys, and impede diabetes. That's some questions you need to know, right? Shouldn't you know those questions? So providing knowledge, it's one of the first steps in taking back your area in taking back your neighborhood and beginning to grow economic power, you have to understand the systems within which you are working.
Yeah, and I'm not an advocate to burn down the system. No, I don't want to burn down anything. What I want to do is take a system where it is good, where it works, and I want to give access to people through knowledge and information and knowing what to ask, just like you said, where to go, and how to get those things that this wonderful country has provided.
And here's the beauty of our country is that you can reimagine anything. You can improve and reimagine anything. We all know that healthcare, I used to erroneously say that our healthcare system was broken. It's actually not broken. It's operating exactly as it was designed to operate, but that design is not right. Our healthcare system should be one that works to improve the health and to have improved outcomes for patients, and that's not what it is. They're starting to say that. There's been legislation that was passed in the last administration to do that in kidney health, for example. But it's not designed that way now. So reimagining that, what does it look like to have a system that works on your behalf? Well, knowing the questions to ask your doctor. That's the first step in getting there. Utilizing the proper medications. That's the second step in knowing what they are.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing. It is always information. Information is important. Knowledge is truly power.
Realizing what the terminology is.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we say diagnosis, we think that, like in kidney care, for example, one of the biggest problems in kidneys is that there are 5 stages of kidney disease. Mm-hmm. You are not, best practices say that your physician, your medical professional, diagnoses you after 3 months of being in stage 3 kidney disease.
Or having an albumin level.
In the first 3 stages of CKD, chronic kidney disease, the doctor is advised by KDIGO, what is it, kidney disease and global outcomes.
It'll be in the footnotes.
They advise that the doctor or medical professional monitor the patient. Now, how that is being interpreted, what we're finding is that it is being interpreted by medical professionals that they see that you're in stage 1. And they monitor but do not inform.
They do not have to inform.
Patient.
That is correct.
It is not a requirement. It is a suggestion that the patient be informed in stage 3. In actuality, what is happening is that most patients are being informed in stage 4. Now, there is no other comorbidity or illness that one would see the patient in, like, for example, let's say oncology. There's no cancer that one would see a patient in stage 1 of kidney cancer and say, well, I see that Paula is in stage 1, but we'll wait and we'll tell her it's stage 3.
Because the probability of her advancing is low, right?
Yeah, her probability of advancing is low. And so then we see her a few years later, and she advances on to stage 2, and we see her a few years later, and she advances on to stage 3, because this is over years of time.
Yeah.
There's no other specialty that would be acceptable. It would be considered negligent in cancer to do that, but yet it's fine. In kidney disease. And that's not something that's understood by patients.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand, that's what the word diagnosis means.
So, and that's important, right? So when we say at the beginning of this segment, it's important to know the rules of the road. It's important to
rules of the rule.
It's important to know those things, right? The rules of the road. How do we navigate in the system so that all people, right, can access the benefits of the free market system. And she just gave you the example of that. And you've been listening to On the Record with Kevin and Tiffany on 9:30 a.m., home of conservative talk radio.
Rule by the rules.